Welcome back to another episode of the dark arts of salary negotiation, where companies don't just stab you in the back. They politely hand you the knife and ask you to do it yourself. I'm talking about salary psychology. You know, the subtle art of making you feel a certain way without you realizing it, and then they guide you toward decisions you normally wouldn't make, all so that the company gets the best deal on you. They'll use things like time pressure. They might guilt you or make you feel empathetic towards them, or they might make the interviews purposely confusing and the pacing really fast, or a whole number of other things. In the last video, we talked about the decoy offer. That sneaky little trick where they give you two options, one that sucks and one that sucks less. It's like choosing between gas station sushi and gas station sushi that's been discounted because it expired yesterday. Technically, you have a choice, but you're getting food poisoning either way. They set you up from the beginning. You see, they're banking on something in psychology called perceived autonomy, which is when you present two or more options to someone, and then it makes them feel in control of the decision. So now the focus is on the options and not the quality of the options. And it lowers the likelihood of you questioning anything. And it also triggers something called cognitive bias, which is once you compare the options, your brain locks onto the better one without stopping to question whether it aligns with real value. And you'll see these sorts of power games in other places, like at a car dealership. They might try and get you to sign some meaningless paper. We have to get your commitment that you're interested in this car, which means nothing, but just guilts you into it. Or they might say something, well, we have someone else coming to look at this car in just a couple hours. All of these are just tactics to prevent you from looking at the details too much. Oh, and if you're tired of getting finessed by corporate and you're ready to flip the script and start playing the game better than they do, then check out joshuafluke.store, where I do resume reviews, where I personally go through your resume, record a video breaking down what to fix and why, and send it back to you. And if you're like, Josh, I don't even want to deal with that, cool, I'll just do it for you with a fully redone, handcrafted custom resume. And you still get the video breakdown of all the changes and why, so you can learn from it. And if you want the entire playbook, every manipulative little tactic they use, the salary games, the power plays, the unspoken rules, then check out the courses Hacking the Resume and Hacking the Interview. We've helped people from all walks, first-time job seekers, people with job gaps, overemployed, even CEOs and executives trying to jump ship without setting off alarms. Whatever your story is, there's something in there for you. Anyways, big thanks to myself for sponsoring today's video. Anyways, lately I've seen this new tactic on the rise everywhere, and I call it the bait and shift, because we know right now in the current job market where most people are just getting ghosted, it's basically never been easier to actually just string people along, get free work out of them, and generally just take advantage of applicants. I mean, honestly, even rejection emails get people excited these days. So all these companies have to do is respond. You see, the bait and shift is what happens when the job you thought you applied for slowly shapeshifts during the interview process into something totally different. Let me give you some examples. Let's say that you're on Indeed and you see a post for a role that hits just right. Let's say it has a solid job title, decent salary range, buzzwords that don't even annoy you for once. You might be like, damn, this is real? So you hit that apply button, and then they call you back fast, faster than anyone else has. Well, that's pretty reassuring. Might start off with some love bombing. They'll call you up, say something like, we loved your resume. You're the culture fit we've been looking for. Your experience matches everything we need. And you hear that little voice in the back of your head start to get excited. No company's ever been this responsive before. And then they'll usually have a few rounds of interviews at first, and they'll make them fast, which doesn't bother you at the time because you're just happy they're being responsive and making this thing happen. So you go to the recruiter screening, then you go to the hiring manager, then you go to the panel interview and the culture fit round and the case study, and then another panel, and then a follow-up with the VP, and then a final interview with the CEO. But they only tell you about the first three. And then as you become invested into it, they add on more interviews, all while they love bomb you. And again, they don't leave much time between these interviews. They want you focused and emotionally invested and preoccupied with the next interview that they just randomly told you about. And if you start raising an eyebrow because it's just getting a little ridiculous, but you're enjoying everyone, they might suddenly add some time pressure. Are you still ready to move forward with our next interview? And if you haven't been paying attention through the interviews, you won't even notice if the job you applied to has shifted into something totally different. The first interview, maybe the title's a bit different when they mention it. No biggie, just details, right? Then the second interview, the benefits aren't quite the same, but no biggie, details. The third interview, you notice the responsibilities start to change, but sure, I guess. And the fourth interview, that hybrid flexibility, actually it's 4 days in the office and 1 day to think about how flexible you thought you were. And then there's the interview where you finally get the offer and you find out that the salary range was actually just a placeholder. They like to play the shell game with this. They'll put a salary on a job that looks amazing, and then when you finally get the offer, they'll say that was actually for a senior position, even though it wasn't mentioned anywhere on the ad. And at this point in the interview, you've probably done like 10 hours of prep, maybe even canceled some plans, rearranged your schedule, maybe even said no to other companies that have given you offers because this one made you feel so wanted and kept things moving so fast you just didn't have time to keep track of all the details, but were instead just focusing on making it through the next step. And that's the trap, the sunk cost fallacy, and a side of love bombing. They basically drag you deep into the interview process so that walking away feels like you're losing everything. And it's better to just take what they offer because you've already done so much, and they just keep praising you. I'm sure it'll be great working there. Now let me break down the psychology behind this a bit more. They're using something that's known as reciprocity bias, which means if someone compliments you, fast tracks you, gives you the warm and fuzzies, then you're more likely to return the favor. But mostly they do this because it makes it really difficult for people to push back after they've been instantly complimented. It's smart. Now, maybe they've been transparent with you, or so they say. Maybe they've been enthusiastic, just so excited with you, or accommodating somehow. And they'll make this known to you, so that when the details of the job change, you won't second guess yourself because you don't want to be difficult or high maintenance. You'll just accept the crappy offer because you're so worn out. They also use what's called the mirror exposure effect, which means the more you see them, the more you subconsciously like them. And that's the point of all the interviews. And that's why they keep adding more and more interviews. It lowers your standards gradually, so it's harder to spot. And then there's the scarcity or urgency. So while love bombing you, they might say something like, hey, we've got another candidate lined up, but we're pretty sure you're the one. Like, this is just exceptional. We just need to wrap everything up by Friday, but don't worry. It's a sort of pressure disguised as progress. Do you see the genius in all of this? It doesn't feel like a trick at all. It just feels like a natural progression. And the market's tough, right? So you're just going with the flow. But it's their flow, and it's been designed to end with you doing more for less. So in summary, the bait and shift is just dangling a dream role to attract high performers, and once they're emotionally invested in the interview process and overwhelmed, to see what they'll settle for. And companies know that if you're unemployed, it's more difficult to move at your own pace and vet the company in the details because your bills don't wait. I mean, just get the candidate into the interview, keep it moving, keep them invested, and then reveal the offer. Maybe they even combine it with the decoy offer. There's lots of different stuff they can do. And despite the smiles and the niceties, corporations are just looking to get the most value out of you for the lowest compensation you'll take. If they didn't have to pay you, they wouldn't. But anyways, hopefully this has been helpful for you. Now you can see the signs. I'd be curious to know what sort of dark art interview experiences you've had. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, you want to see more like them, learn more about the dark arts of the interview process, then click subscribe. And if you have anything you'd like me to showcase or talk about on the channel, you can email me, Discord, Instagram, however you want to do it. The links for all of that are down in the description. And don't forget to check out joshuafluke.store if you're tired of dealing with all this corporate nonsense. Having said all that, I hope everyone is doing really well, and I'll see you in the next one.